And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. If podcast land exists anymore, I don't know. I got it. Maybe that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to work on that today. But I'd like to welcome my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
Doing good, Mike. So, it is. It's been a cold couple of days. Up on my side of Iowa, and so.
You want to play top trumps?
I know you're colder, but
Yesterday we left the house and it was negative 17 or negative 18 degrees, and we drove up to Sioux Falls. We had some appointments and stuff up there. The highest temperature we saw yesterday was negative 9.
Yeah, I just think that driving, it kind of hit me that, wow, it is really this cold, is that I didn't think that my car's little thermometer that appears on within the speedometer thing went to negative numbers. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Mine does every year.
Yeah. I maybe it's just something that I've never noticed in driving, because obviously I've been up there and visited you.
Yeah.
Around like in February before, and you had extreme cold weather up there.
Speaking of, are you ready for the fact that next week is February already? Like, we're a week and a day from February.
It's crazy. January's flying by, and
this is the quickest.
Before we know it, it's going to be March.
This is the quickest January I think I've felt in a long time. Most of the time, January is like the longest month of the year. It lasts like equivalent of 6 months, and then February lasts, a month, and then March, April, May are like a month all combined, and then June, July, August is half a month, and then September, and then it's just crazy. But it's this year, January, it feels like it's flying by, which is great because we have some awesome stuff happening in February. The Olympics starts in 2 weeks. We're going to the moon in 2 weeks, and all sorts of awesome stuff going on. Super excited about it. So we got a good show to talk about. Speaking of the Olympics, we are going to we at least have one story we want to talk about in the Olympics. Plus, we're going racing, boys. Cars on track in Daytona starting today.
Yeah, we're also going to be touching base on the NFL, on the week of action from the NFL last week, and giving you our picks for the conference championship games, which will be this week. And if time permits, we may even talk some Chicago Cubs baseball, as we've been kind of kicking that can down the road, and probably got a controversial Hall of Fame class announced this week.
Yeah.
This week. But all that and more, Mike. But what do we got to do first?
We got to go ahead and roll the intro! Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And with that, Rich, we are back. Okay, before we do any of that, we have a poll question. By the way, thank you to all 9 of you that joined us for this poll question this week. Love seeing it. It is the championship poll question for activities. What's your favorite? So our we started this essentially a year ago this week.
Yeah, I think you're right. We did.
And the goal was to go 1 year with this, and we made it work. Bonfires versus grilling. Rich, man, so I will tell you right now, and I think I've said this on here before, my Christmas present was a awning like a canopy, one of those canopies, like those party tailgate canopies. But ours is for the backyard one, specifically so I could have a better place for me to grill in the winter months and slash anytime. So I 100% was gonna vote for grilling. I do it year round. I might go out and grill today, even at negative whatever the temp is gonna be today. I will grill any day. Don't care. Let's go.
All right, Mike. I went with bonfires just
Okay.
because of just so many great memories when we were going through kind of like that in our 20s of so many nights, just having spontaneous kind of like hangout nights. So hey, we're going to be lighting the fire tonight. You coming over? Or
Yeah.
feel free to come over. Bring your own meat. So it kind of went back with grilling. So grilling and bonfires kind of went together. So even though I think I give a hard time, I think to people that have the fire pits, it's like you'll never use that thing. I know you're different, but you certainly use yours a lot. But I mean,
I don't
we
use
got
my
one
fire pit a
gifted
ton.
to us, and I don't think we never somebody's old one, and we never used it.
I don't hardly use mine anymore. I would love to, but we just don't have time anymore.
So I went with bonfires just because of just the great memories and times around the bonfires that I've had in the past.
Rich, luckily it was an odd number of people that voted, so we couldn't have a tie, but we were as close to a tie as we could be with an odd number.
Okay.
There were 4 votes for bonfires, 5 votes for grilling. Let's give you the shout outs to the people who voted for bonfires this week. That was Brooke Rice, Danielle Hart, Rich Hendricks, and Barbara Walker.
Yep.
Those that voted for grilling, me, Heather Marie, Austin Shriepeck, Brandon Close, and Nathan Ross. Of those people that voted for that, only one of them lives in a warm weather climate in which that most people would accept grilling year round. Great. That was a great year of poll questions, Rich. Thank you for taking that on. Look for the poll question. Today's poll question, I mentioned at the top of the show, we do have the Olympics coming up, or not the Olympics. We do have the space shuttle coming up in the launching to go around the moon. Are you looking forward to the moon launch? It's not a shuttle anymore. It's a moon launch. It's a capsule. So,
Okay.
Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch the moon launch?
All right. And so Mike's already got that poll scheduled. It's
Yeah,
going
it'll
to
be
go live short
11-ish, 11:30.
11-ish, yeah. So look for that over on Fans of Balls and Sticks, the podcast. If you've made it, if you find the poll on one of our Facebook pages or on the show page, make sure to, along with voting, make sure to share it.
Yeah.
Make sure to share it out. And I think the idea I think that we're workshopping and putting together a list, more of a longer term poll, is we're looking at elementary like school activities. So I think we kind of floated around the idea of maybe gym or PE activities.
Music class
that were done. Yeah.
Movie days, like what was your favorite movie series from then? Stuff like that. If you have something that was specifically we're going to go with elementary right now, but specifically elementary school related, put it in the comments. Let us know. Give us ideas. We want to take your ideas for options of this next poll series. We want to make it your poll series. So give us ideas for what you think would make for a great poll question series. So with that, Rich,
yeah. Are you ready for some football, Mike?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So how many, before we give the results, how many of the games were you able to watch?
I think I watched. I watched that one. I watched 2 or 3. I don't remember all the way, but I watched it at least 2.
Okay. I only watched one. We had a busy weekend, and yeah, we had a
It's
busy
only going to get
weekend.
worse, bud. Only
I
going to
know,
get
I know,
worse.
I know it is. We just had a busy weekend of that week with different activities going on and wanting to get other things done around the house and try
Yeah.
to balance spending time with the missus. So I think I only watched the Bears-Rams game. I got to see maybe snippets of the Bills-Broncos game, but that was that was about it for me.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff to talk about with a lot of this stuff. But no, I watched the Bills, the Bears Rams game, and then I also watched a good chunk of the Patriots Texans as well. I have a lot to say about that one. We'll get there in a second. But before we do, let's take them in order. We're going to talk Bills Broncos 33-30. Bo Nix. So great game. Came down to the last plays of the game. And of that, Bo Nix throws a great pass, gets his team in a perfect field goal range. And in that play, busts his ankle. Like literally breaks a bone in his ankle. Out for won't be able to play this weekend, has to have surgery, won't be able to play next weekend. Honestly, and again, depending on how bad it is, he might be out for another year.
Yeah, I hadn't heard the severity of the injury.
I haven't heard yet.
Only that he's done for the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he missed some time in the upcoming regular season as well. So obviously he's not going to be playing in the Pro Bowl. He's not if he made it, and he won't be in the Super Bowl if the Broncos make it that far. And but yeah, this game was a little crazy. I remember we went out to dinner with my in-laws, and as I'm walking into the restaurant to find where they were seated at, because I dropped my wife off at the door and went and parked the car, and I noticed that this game was on the TV in the bar area of the restaurant, and the Broncos were up by maybe 2 touchdowns and a field goal or something like that, and sat down, had our dinner, and we're walking out, and lo and behold, hey, this game's still on, and it's now 30-30.
Yeah, wow. So which is bigger news? By the way, it's a 3 to 5 month recovery time of the surgery, so he should be back before the season starts.
Yeah.
Might miss some of preseason, but that'll be about it. And that's full range of motion. That's not even just. So he should be able to do light practicing fairly early on. I think they said 3 to 6 weeks for basic recovery after the surgery, and then full range of motion being back to 100% will be 3 to 4 months. So
yeah, but the other news to come out of this game, other than Bo Nix being out for the season, is that head coach Sean McDermott was relieved of his duties as head coach on Monday after the loss.
I am shocked by this. I can't remember another time that a team that won in the wild card then turns around and fires their head coach after losing in the divisional game. I can't come up with it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare. Also, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and finish your statement, and then I'll touch on McDermott.
I just think I understand that there is some issue there, and they got to figure out how to win a game, how to win a playoff game. But like for real, is this legitimately like the time to do this?
Yeah, it certainly feels like a scapegoating
Yeah.
type of firing. But I
Um,
mean, I throughout the McDermott, throughout the McDermott tenure, he's gone through a lot of coordinators, and it's not just because they're getting jobs. I think the only one that's left because he's gotten a head coaching job was Brian Dable. So it seems like every couple of years he's firing or getting new coordinators because of disappointing results. So there's been a lot of turnover on his staff. So that's eventually how many times are you going to change coordinators yet you still keep getting the same results of great regular seasons and then you fall short in the playoffs.
yeah.
So not being able to get over the hump on the playoffs. So and I don't know where this team's going to go with their head coaching hire either. Are they going to? The only thing I've really heard is that Josh Allen has been involved in the interview process. So at least they're going to get somebody that's gonna align with Josh Allen.
Well, and again, I'm just going to put this out there. We're not going to. I don't know that we're going to get on all of the coaching hirings this week. We like to take a step back and look at the full scale of all of them when all of them get hired.
Yeah.
So we probably won't talk about it this week, but looking at it, how about the fact that Philip Rivers was interviewed by the Bills? That to me is a little crazy.
It does, especially since you just saw him play 3 games in the NFL to hopefully get the hopefully right the ship and get the Colts that division title, yet which just didn't pan out after they lost Daniel Jones for the season. Um, yeah, I didn't read a lot of the pundits because I think a lot of the reactions, like the over or the gut take reactions to this, is that he's only coached college football, but I think that was more. I think the comments towards this guy shouldn't even be getting interviewed. There are much rather better candidates that they should be interviewing. I think the comments were more related to race than on the skill of the coach.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's going to be. There's a lot to talk about with a lot of these head coaches firings and the hirings going on. Speaking of, I think there's one thing that coach hiring that I think we need to talk about, and we'll talk about it after we give you the rest of the rundown on how these guys or the rest of the weekend stuff. The 49ers, Seahawks. Wow.
I did
Are the
not see this
Seahawks
game
that
being.
good?
I was not expecting that big of a lopsided win for the Seahawks. I thought it would be back and forth where it'd almost be a coin flip of the game. But it ended up being the most lopsided loss in the Kyle Shanahan era in San Fran, as well as the third largest margin of victory for a coach making their postseason debut.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of defensive Seahawk defense coming up big and scoring some points and getting some key turnovers to give short fields to the offense. Because it isn't like Sam Darnold had an overwhelmingly great game to where you could point to it and say, "See, it was the previous coaching in New York and Carolina that held him back."
Yeah.
He managed the game well, and the defense put him in positions to win the game.
Yeah, not expected. Kyle Shanahan, I think is better than that.
I think a lot just had to do with the 49ers injuries finally caught up with them, having so many key players out of the game. And I think even Christian McCaffrey finally got injured for the first time.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I'm not even like it's just it's there's a lot to it. Um, so
But good on them. It's going to be a good game. And who we'll get to who's going to be going up to Seattle to play for the conference championship game here in a bit. Patriots Texans. It was 28-16. The story of that game was 8 total turnovers in that game. C.J. Stroud throwing 4 interceptions, and rookie running back Woody Marks having a fumble. And then on the Patriots side, Drake May throwing 1 interception. He also fumbled the ball 2 times, and 2 of which that he lost. So was this a combination of good defense or bad ball control on the offense?
this is just bad play. Like bad play all around. Um, Neither one of these teams looked like or felt like to me that they wanted to win this game. Um, if you like, how do you, as the Texans, you turn the ball over 4 times and you only lose by 12 points? Thank God you had that great of a defense. You know?
Yeah, 2 young quarterbacks, not a recipe for success when both the quarterbacks on both sides are turning the ball over this much.
Like how do you expect to be in anything when you're that bad? I ooh.
Yeah, so I think so. I mean, it's going to lead into an interesting conference championship game, as I think both the Patriots and Broncos play good defense. They have veteran coaches, both being coached by veteran coaches. But it's being a backup quarterback going up against a rookie quarterback that struggled in the divisional round game with turnovers. But that could lead for an interesting game, but we'll get to our picks here in a minute. And finally, our favorite team, the Chicago Bears, lost 20-17 in overtime to the Rams.
So I legitimately I was calm the entire game. I legit thought they were gonna pull it off. Um, Shocked that they didn't. Uh, it's overtime though. You can never count on anything in overtime. Like overtime is once you go to overtime, all bets are off.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I thought they had it when they stopped them and they punted the ball.
Yep.
I thought it was done. Before we talk about overtime, Mike, would you have rather seen them lost in overtime or go for broke and go for a 2-point conversion that could have won it in regulation?
So now we're at the what if game. I genuinely think that they could have, with the way the momentum was being at home, I think they could have pulled that off. The problem with that is if they don't pull it off, immediately everybody's like, this is dumb. He goes for it too often. He's too aggressive. He's gotta think. He's gotta be no. Like the reason you hired Ben Johnson, A, was his ability to develop Caleb, and B, because he is so aggressive. I can't like
Yeah, I agree. That would have been a tougher pill to swallow with the loss if he had gone for 2, knowing that you could have gone to overtime, knowing that you got 2 possessions. I think they made the right call to take it to overtime, and as well as kick the ball going into overtime, so you at least know what you need to do on offense. either go for a tying touchdown, or if you stop them, know that you just need to get in the field goal range if all else fails. I think the only thing you can really say about the game with how they handled overtime is that they had plenty of time with the way they were marching the ball down the field in the short intermediate pass game, that once they crossed midfield, they didn't necessarily need to go for that big shot to get, maybe to even get, because the interception happened within around the 25 yard line. They didn't need to take that big of a shot to get into it, to fully get into field goal range. They could have kept gradually going down the field with the run game or screen passes to keep going and getting in the field goal range.
Yeah.
And get Chuck just keeping that defense on their toes. But yeah, but at the same time, the Rams had to get in the field goal range themselves. And then once again, Ben Johnson doesn't use timeouts to ice the kicker.
Yeah, I will 100%
Second
agree.
time he's not done that, and they lost the game. They didn't do that against the Niners in the Niners game when the Niners were approaching for the game-winning touchdown. The commentators in the Rams game were saying, "Well, all right, they're probably going to take their timeout and ice that kicker." Never took it. It isn't like it was a 50-yard field goal to where, that could go either way. It was a short field goal, but you still had three timeouts in your pocket to use. So even if he misses the field goal and you get the ball back, you still have 2 timeouts to help your team if they get a second chance at a possession.
Yeah. The timeout is huge.
Because worst comes to worst, you're calling timeout. He still kicks the ball because of where he's at in the motion. He makes the kickoff. He makes it. All right, well, you got to re-kick it because the Bears called a timeout. He makes it again. No harm, no foul. If he misses, in the odd event that he misses and the timeout was called, then it was like, oh, why did he use the timeout? If he wasted a timeout, because what's the chance he's going to miss that close of a field goal 2 times in a row?
Yeah.
But it's that off chance that he makes it, and you got to make him get back into his rhythm and kick it 2 times in a row, which not too many kickers have to do that. Kick it 2 times in a row.
Yeah. And
all right.
Yeah, so the only thing I really would honestly, and again, I'm going to say this, we also need to talk about the Bears year in review, as the Bears are done. So what we'll do real quick. The only thing I will say about this game, the only thing I'm disappointed in is that we didn't take that time out. Outside of that, I think it was a great game. I was excited the whole time, and I felt fairly confident in it, and wasn't that worried. Rich, we had a rough week this week when it comes to pick'ems.
We did, as I went 1-3. The difference maker was that Seahawks-Niners game, the only game that we disagreed with. So I went 1-3. You went 0-4. The record during the playoffs is I'm sitting at 7-3. Mike, you're 4-6.
Yeah. Wow. Ofer on this week, and that's, man, that hurts.
So Bears season in review.
Yeah.
I thought it was a successful year. They're set up very well for the future. It could turn into be that I kind of want to see where they're going to go with in this off season. With what they need to improve, how they improve the team and keep evolving. I don't think it's a total slam dunk to say that that's their division now. This could be the run of consecutive division titles, because the Lions, I think, the Lions are still the Lions. They're still a great team. They just have to figure some things out. And I'm still kind of worried with all the one score and comeback victories. I wonder if there could be a little bit of a letdown next year where some of these one score and come from behind victories don't materialize like they did this year, and we take a little bit of a step back.
So I think
next year.
I think you brought one. I think this was a great year. I think it was amazing. They did an amazing job. I think that it feels. Again, I come back to Cubs analogies a lot. I think. I think this again feels like a year or two early when it comes to where I would have expected them. I never expect a head coach to come in and do this much difference in his first year. That's crazy. Amazing that he did. I'm super proud of the team. I'm super happy on how they did this year. I truly do look forward to what next year will look like. But it feels early. Now, with that being said, you brought up the team that is the perfect example of why you can't count on a team owning the North. The last couple years, you looked at the Lions and you were like, this team is ready to go. So, boom, we're done. This is where we're at. And this year they didn't even make the playoffs. So you can't count on that. Dan Campbell is still Dan Campbell. The North is, I will say, the North is still up for grabs. But I think the Bears' future looks great. I am very happy with both Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams' developments this year. I 100% would take this year. Most years, I think I would feel comfortable. I would be happy if this is how the team plays in general. But like you said, you never know what's going to happen when it comes to like those one-score games. You can never count on those. You can never count on those at all. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, and I did like Ben Johnson's kind of like response to how are you going to build off of this? It's like there's nothing to build off of. We're back at ground zero. We're back at the ground level. It's time to re-examine where we go from here. You're not building. They're not continuing to build. They're back at the ground floor at the foundation to build it back up. They're not building on in addition to the house. Yeah. They're starting a new house.
Right. And this year kind of felt that way anyway. I would argue they weren't counting on this year being this good of a year, so you kind of were feeling out how you were doing this year, and then next year was when you were really going to make it your own. But yeah, it's been great to see, and I look forward to how the Bears are gonna move forward. So yeah.
All right. So looking ahead, conference championship games this week, Mike. The Patriots and the Broncos square off on Sunday in the late afternoon window out in Denver on CBS. Who are you going to go with?
With Bo Nix out, I got to go with the Rams.
The Patriots.
Oh,
or the Broncos.
Sorry, the Patriots.
Okay.
Patriots.
All right. I'm going to go opposite of you just for funsies, and I'll go with the Broncos. I think the Broncos defense in their run game, I think I think can keep them in the game. And if any head coach can scheme an offense around a backup quarterback, I think it's Sean Payton. So I think the home field advantage is going to be the difference. And if Bo Nix can't take care of the football again, that defense, much like the Texans defense, is going to take advantage of it. And then we go over to the early evening window of the Rams going up to Seattle for a divisional round clash with the Seahawks. Who do you like in that game, Mike?
I like the Rams. This is where I like the Rams. I think the Seahawks look really good. This game I don't really have a prediction on, but because I have to have a prediction on it, I'm going to pick the Rams.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, even though I put the Rams in the Super Bowl pre-playoffs. How well they did against San Francisco really impressed me. But I really do think that this could be the coin flip. This could be kind of a toss-up game with how close their divisional games, how close their regular season games were, which was only decided by 3 points, and they split the series.
Yeah.
So I'll go opposite of you just for, once again, and I think the latest conspiracy theories or predictions is if you look at the Super Bowl logo, if you look at the colors in the Super Bowl logo, I could be wrong here, but there is no navy blue, bone, or yellow in that logo. There's a lot more of the Seahawks light blue and neon green in that logo. But at the same time, there's a lot of silver in the Patriots logos. There's no red or blue or orange for either team in there. So that would lead me to go with the Patriots as well. But I'm going to go with the Broncos.
And Seattle.
Either way. Yeah, I'm going to go with Broncos in Seattle.
Okay.
All right, Mike. So as you alluded to, we're kind of going to save the head coaching talk to kind of recap who got the right hire, which one kind of surprised you. Once all the openings are filled, and we kind of did touch on Phillip Rivers getting an interview, at least so early into his retirement.
I mean,
or not retirement, because I don't know if he's formally submitted the paperwork to say, "Yep, I'm retired."
He's been retired for 4 years. Like, in truth, this was just a one-off helping a team out. So,
it'd be crazy if he somehow got the job, as his only coaching experience is coaching his son's high school football team down in Alabama.
Yep. So, I think they could. I think I would like for him to be able to do that at some point. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually more surprised that he got an interview before, and this is my argument. I think it's shocking that it's before Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Peyton Manning had at least should be considered for a offensive coordinator position somewhere. And I did mention before we started, we finished the Bears segment that I had to talk about one coach hiring that is a big deal to the Bears, and that's that running back coach and former offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, is now back to the Kansas City Chiefs as their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that is a promotion from being a position coach to an offensive coordinator coach, even if there's no play calling involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I do remember that, and I have heard that he was he played a role in getting Kyle Monangai, turning that player, coaching him up to seventh round pick into a RB2 or
Yeah.
RB1B in our offense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
the enemy
shocked.
the
Kind of
enemy
sad
could
by it.
be. Yeah, that is kind of a disappointing loss. But as Ben Johnson's offenses and team do well, you tend to lose your coordinators. Your coordinators start dropping off and getting offensive coordinator jobs and head coaching jobs.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it happened so quick. I guess is my thing. Um, as I didn't think that they would be that quick um, to start losing guys. I thought, normally it takes a year or two for you to actually think that this coach is doing the right thing and is in a place where his coordinators are worth looking at. So, with that, Rich, let's head to Florida as we have to talk the 24 hours of Daytona. Rich, I know, all I know is they race for 24 hours in cars that don't look like anything I've ever seen, and some cars that do. So, let's pick our teams, and then we'll talk about next week how they did. I'm
Sure.
going to pick the number 31 Cadillac with Connor Zilic, Frederick Vesti, Earl Bamber, and Jack Atkins in it, and that's going to be my team.
All right. I'm going to go with the number 60 car of Tom Bloomquist. Tom Bloomquist, Scott Dixon, Colin Braun, and AJ Allmendinger. I know it's an Acura, and being a former Honda guy, even though I drive a Toyota now, that played into why I picked that car, as well as the name recognition of Scott Dixon from Indy Cars and AJ Allmendinger from the NASCAR.
Yeah, so watch for that. YouTube, I think YouTube has an entire stream of it. I know that you can watch it on Peacock. You can watch from start to finish all on Peacock. I think you have to have a premium subscription for that.
Probably.
I know that they also have NBC has it, and I don't know where else you can watch it. If you want to watch
at
it,
least
you'll
you
find
can
it.
watch the start and the finish on NBC. You get
Yep.
you get the sandwich
Yep.
on the main over-the-air main network there.
Yep. And then with that, Rich, we talked about it I mentioned it at the beginning. Olympics start in 2 weeks. I love the Olympics. I love the Olympics. Curling will be on TV. Look for it. We're gonna dive in. This week, though, the only big thing is that the Jamaican bobsled team has once again qualified for the 2026 Olympics. I'm excited to watch that. Yo, people, they can't believe Jamaica, we have a bobsled team.
Yeah. So that is kind of neat. The Olympics is one thing we enjoy watching as a family too.
Yeah.
So I think I more like the sledding events.
Yeah.
Skating kind of the skating for me gets a little annoying, as that seems to be one of the main events that gets the airtime.
I like speed skating. For me, I don't like the figure skating stuff. I do like hockey, but I don't know if the NHL's letting their guys play this year. There's been some back and forth on whether they were going to or not. I don't know where they're at with that.
Yeah, I don't remember if the NHL was putting a pause on their season either.
But yeah, that's going to be crazy. Next week, Rich and I will announce our adopted nations. Can't be the U.S., but any other nation in the world that you want to pick. And again, you can be the guy that just says, I just care about the Jamaican bobsled team, or you can want to talk about everything from top, like you want to win the most golds or whatever. I don't care how you do it. I know how I'm going to do it, and it's just going to be a nation that I really just want to I want to watch and I'm going to pay attention to, and it'll be fun to see. With that, Rich, let's do a quick spoiler alert. Talk some Cubs for about 10 minutes, and then come back to the spoiler. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We're going to talk about the Masked Singer here in a couple minutes. Rich will not be because he didn't watch this week, but I will give you who won, who lost, and who came up. Yeah. But we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But before that, we're going to talk Cubs baseball. Rich, if they want to take a pause and come back later, where can they find our content if they want to watch the show live?
They got to go to YouTube and the archive, really, on YouTube. Look up Balls and Sticks over on our YouTube channel. Look for us playing baseball, looking like we're swinging invisible baseball bats.
Find our content if they want to watch.
And also look us up in podcast land. We're a little behind in posting previous episodes, but they should be. We're working on getting caught up, and you can find our podcast episodes on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, just to name a few.
With that, Rich, let's go ahead and talk Cubs baseball.
Yeah, so the Cubs convention was last week, which led to the announcement of who's going to be going into the Cubs Hall of Fame this summer. And they announced that World Series, the ace of the 2016 World Series champions, John Lester, as well as longtime Cub, he was a catcher on the 80s teams, Jody Davis, will be honored with plaques in the Cubs Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
Not a surprise. So I think you're going to start seeing 2016 Cubs start getting trickled in every year once they hit that threshold of being retired for so many years.
Yep. So I think it's going to be a great thing. And is there a Cub that you don't think – is there a guy on that team that won't make it? I have one, and I think it's going to be as much as Aroldis Chapman is the biggest reason why we won. I don't think that he'll end up
for only a half a season.
Yeah,
I think that could be a big reason. But yeah, I mean, I think the guys you're probably going to see eventually start trickling in with that team would joining Lester in there. Obviously, Rizzo, Zobrist, Dexter Fowler wouldn't surprise me. Kyle Schwarber, Rizzo, of course. Probably Wilson Contreras and David Ross.
Yeah, and
Hendricks, Jake Arrieta.
Yeah, I think most of that team will, but I think the one that won't will be Aroldis Chapman. Even though when it comes to the posters that you could buy back then, he was prominently displayed, and rightfully so. He was a lot of the reason why the Cubs won.
Right.
He won't.
So I got another controversial member that just came to my mind.
Okay.
Is Jason Hayward Cubs Hall of Fame material? He signed the big contract, but he just didn't play. I think it's safe to say that he underperformed for that contract. He didn't put up the best seasons as a Chicago Cub.
Yeah.
He was probably featured very prominently on that World Series team, but I think it's a tough one. It's what he did after that World Series team of just weighing down the payroll and putting up disappointing results at the plate. That would make it a hard one for me to say, yeah, you got to put him on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think he, because of what he did, because of winning the World, like I think essentially anybody that was on that World Series winning team is gonna make it. Part of me feels that way, no matter what. So I'm gonna say yeah, he makes it.
Okay.
So, now, bigger news. Well, the Cubs, I think, did we talk about last week that the Cubs signed third baseman Alex Bregman?
No, that big signing.
Huge.
Love the signing that pushes Matt Shaw Matt Shaw will probably be a bench role unless the team decides to trade either him or Nico Horner, which I hope they don't.
Yeah.
So there's talk of Matt Shaw getting some reps out in the outfield and turning into more of a Ben Zobrist type of role, where they can get his bat into the lineup consistently on a regular basis, kind of like what they did with Zobrist during his 2 years with the club. And the big pitching trading, they finally pulled the trigger to get a frontline starter in Edward Cabrera
Yeah, which
from the Marlins.
I think that really does shore up that starting rotation. The rest of this offseason needs to be about getting bullpen guys that can, if nothing more, hold a lead and not give it up. That's all I care about at this point.
Yeah, I think the bullpen is pretty well set, so I think you're probably going to see that it's probably going to be a mid-season acquisition that's going to get you that closer, that Aroldis Chapman type of closer that can close the door and be the difference maker in the game. I think going into the regular season, they're probably going to be mixing and matching the ninth inning, the eighth and ninth innings with Danny Palencia and Hunter Harvey. They got their big free agent signing that can throw hard and has some closing experience, but maybe not to the level that you'd feel comfortable with, that moves the needle as, man, but he was a really great bullpen addition.
Yeah.
But they still improved it. They still improved the team, though.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. And I think I said last week I had a theory on this. Again, both of those sightings happened just before the Cubs convention, and I legitimately think that it had everything to do with they needed to show Cubs convention fans, which those are mostly the season ticket holders, that, hey, we're actually doing something. Here you go. So
yeah, and final baseball note, the Baseball Hall of Fame announced the induction of Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones into the Hall of Fame. So no first ballot Hall of Famers this year, as both candidates this year were, I think, they were at least, they've been on the ballot for quite a few years, gradually working themselves up to that percentage of votes to get them into the Hall of Fame. Kind of head scratcher one on this one. I think that while the numbers dictate that, yeah, numbers wise, yeah, that they're Hall of Fame players, but to me, they're more of the Hall of Good players, not Hall of Fame players.
I would agree. The problem is that the era for which they represent, the amount of guys that are tarnished for one reason or another is so big that it seems like they're not giving a lot of those guys opportunities to be to make it, and so that's to me why you have these Hall of Good guys getting in and not your Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Andrew Jones put up great numbers early on in his career, but as he got older, the production went down. Pretty much almost like when he got paid, that's when his production went down and he started bouncing around from team to team. And of course, Carlos Beltran is associated with the 2017 Astros team, where
the ultimate asterisk.
Yeah, he's on the record as saying that your cheating game is really behind the times.
Yeah.
Noted as being the mastermind of that sign stealing Astros team, and it's cost him. It costed him maybe a first or a second or third ballot Hall of Fame candidacy, and it's cost him jobs. He was hired as the Mets manager at the time that scandal broke, and then the Mets fired him, and I think he's in a front office role somewhere, but obviously his name hasn't surfaced as a manager again. But yeah, numbers wise, I thought Andrew Jones maybe was a Hall of Famer, but I thought he would have gotten in through like a Veterans Committee election, and mean, in reading up on Beltran's numbers, yeah, the numbers match up that he's a Hall of Famer, but it's, to me, he was more like a career longevity is how he got those numbers, not individual great seasons that saw him catapult into being a slam dunk Hall of Fame candidate.
Yep. So, okay. With that, Rich, go ahead and take your headset off for about 2 minutes, and then I will wave at you. Okay. So this week was Clueless Night on The Masked Singer. We got to meet the Crane for the first time, who did great. Honestly, the handyman was the only person who I didn't think did great, but I thought for what he was doing, he did great. But he got eliminated, and the Scarab got eliminated. The handyman ended up being Tone Loc, famous for his song Wild Thing, and did a great job. And then the Scarab, who I thought was doing great, ended up being Celebrity Targia Henson, known for being in lots of stuff, tons of stuff, but the most recently big thing she was in was Empire. Did a great job. Shocked she went home. And with that, let's bring Rich back in. Okay, Rich, with that, what's it time to do?
Well, Mike, let's go ahead and roll the outro. Roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.